Fewer obstructions, more visibility. Do we have a meeting place? She asked. The very tip of Dimwood Forest, her father said. Just on the far side of the bridge over Glitter Creek, Mr. Ozak's watching tree. He's there most nights. Can't miss it. It's a huge dead oak. I'm going to go back to the map because I want to see where that is. Ah, here we are. So we can see they're starting down here at Gray House. And they're going to take the road up this way, over the bridge. And right here is Mr. Okak's watching tree. So they're going to meet up somewhere right around here. So that doesn't look too far. But I bet you it's a difficult walk at night in the dark. How come it's dead? That was Poppy asking about the tree. It was hit by lightning. Was Mr. Okax on the tree at the time? Lungwort chuckled. Poppy, there are those who say Mr. Okax made the lightning himself. He's that kind of bird. Now, my dear, do keep that flag up. Poppy tried, but she was wondering what kind of chance they'd have with an owl who made his own lightning. Marching down the middle of the road made her nervous. Surely Mr. Okax would see them. Would he recognize her? If he did, would he attack? What should she do then? Run? Where? Ashamed to have such worries, Poppy decided it would be better to hide them, so she said nothing. Still, it was hard to keep the heavy flag high. Up! Lungwort kept calling. He was now walking behind her. They had been marching for some time, during which they had exchanged only a few words, when the night silence was suddenly shattered by a hoo! Hoo! Startled, Poppy stopped short. In the confusion, Lungwort banged into her. He lost his thimble cap and his speech, and she dropped the flag. Pick the flag up, her father cried, searching and finding both thimble and speech in the darkness. Lose the flag and we're done for. Do you think he's seen us? Why else do you think he called? Lungwort snapped. The hair along Poppy's spine stood straight up. It wasn't the owl's call that frightened her as much as the fear she heard suddenly in her father's voice. Never had she heard that before. She peered around at him. He didn't appear scared. Poppy sighed. She decided she must have imagined it, seeing in him what she was feeling. The call came again. Hoo! Hoo! Poppy, her heart pounding, asked, How much further to go? Quite a ways, Lungwort whispered. They listened again. No more calls came. Lungwort adjusted his hat and gave a forced chuckle. Actually, I suspect that call was just some good-natured joshing. Papa? What? I'm glad you're here. Lungwort replied, but Poppy sensed he was pleased. She felt better until he said, But do keep that flag up. The owl's call came again. For a second time Poppy stopped. Her father did too. They listened intently for a few minutes. Then Lungwort whispered, Just as I thought. He's joking. Lighten up, child. They moved on. Poppy didn't like to contradict her father, but she doubted Mr. Okak's calls were a joke. She rather suspected that the owl was trying to scare them, and, as far as she was concerned, he was succeeding. Rain began. It came softly at first, but when a clap of thunder burst right overhead, making them jump, the drizzle turned into a deluge. Within seconds they were soaked. The tar-covered road ran with water. The flag became heavier and spattered with mud. Shake out the flag, Lungwort cried. It must stay white. Poppy tried to do as she was told, but it was difficult. They trudged on. Off to the left, flashes of lightning allowed Poppy to see the tall trees of Dimwood Forest. Although she, like all mice, was well aware of the forest, she had never visited it. Who would want to? She'd been taught too many fearsome things about its vast size, its dreadful darkness, and the fact that Mr. Okax had a secret home there. Equally alarming was the knowledge that Dimwood Forest was full of the animals that hunted mice. Animals like porcupines. Poppy made herself look in another direction. We're getting close, her father said, his voice tense. Poppy cocked an ear. Over the continual splash of rain she heard the rushing waters of Glitter Creek. Then the tar road twisted sharply to the left. They had reached the bridge, a row of heavy wooden planks thrown across the creek. The gaps between the plank were the gaps between the planks were wide enough for a mouse to fall through. Lungwort chose the middle plank, and Poppy followed. Despite her best intentions, she couldn't keep from peeking down. Normally, Glitter Creek was serene. The summer rains had made it high, fast, and fairly roaring. Poppy stole a nervous glance at her father. He had stopped to pull at his whiskers. She had never seen him so agitated, and wondered suddenly if he would be able to protect her. She'd never asked that question before, never had to. Just to think about it upset her. She looked at her father for reassurance, but all she saw was his frailty. She knew then that he must be as frightened as she was. The realization made her stomach ache with tension. Lungwort caught her looking at him. "Flag!" he cried, moving forward. Poppy managed to level the flag up just as she stepped off the bridge. The moment she did, the air was rent with yet another of Mr. Oakhack's cries. "Hoo! Hoo!" "There he is," Lungwort explained. Poppy looked up. As the lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, Mr. Oakhack's dead oak tree seemed to leap toward them. Against the darkness of Dinwood, she saw that the owl's branches reached out like a claw. As for Mr. Oakhack's, his head feathers were erect, making him look like the devil. "Don't give way," Poppy said fiercely to herself, even as she trembled. "Don't give way." That's the end of chapter 5. Did you see the cool picture? You can see where she just talked about, there's Mr. Oakhack's on his dead tree with the branches that look like claws. I wonder what's going to happen. Chapter 6, Mr. Hit is going to read to you. So you'll get to have him read chapter 6 to you the next time that we're together. Thank you very much for letting me be your reader. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy Poppy as much as I am. Bye-bye.